Hello and welcome to Coaster Strike. My name is Tom, and in today's video I'm going to be going over my top 10 coasters in the entire world. Now, granted I haven't been to as many theme parks as lots of other YouTubers have, but I'll try and do my best with what I've got. So, let's dive in. At number 10 is Dragon's Fury at Chessington World of Adventures. Now, I rode this coaster about a year ago, was the most recent time, it's a really fun coaster. It's not a Mack, I believe. It's a spinning coaster. It's pretty intense, actually. I mean, it's obviously not like incredible, but it's a lot of fun. You get some good airtime, and you lose your sense of direction very quickly and very easily. Now, at number 9 is The Vampire, also at Chessington World of Adventures. Just want to quickly say, I'm not like a Chessington super fan. I've been to other theme parks, obviously, but it's just this coaster's got it's a special place for me because it was like my first proper coaster, and it wasn't like the thing that made me obsessed with roller coasters, but it definitely was like one of my favorite. I mean, yeah, it was the first coaster I rode, and I mean, it is still a really good stand-up coaster. It's not a stand-up coaster, I just mean it stands up. But yeah, I mean, you get some actually quite good speeds. Swinging is fun, and the theming, specifically in the station, is really great. At number 8 is Winger's Fish/Winger's Force. Now, this is at Phantasialand in Germany, and it's a cool spinning coaster, but it's not as thrilling as Dragon's Fury. But the reason that I put this higher is because it's got, and I don't want to spoil it. If you don't want spoilers for the ride, just skip ahead about 20 seconds. But it's got this awesome tilt track inside the building, in the dark, which was my first ever tilt track. Like, I'd never experienced that before. So you just go into this dark area and you just tilt, and it's so confusing and mind-boggling. It was quite an odd experience. So again, bit of nostalgia on this one. But yeah, it's still a really great coaster. At the number 7 spot is Colossus at Thorpe Park. Now, this coaster is great. It's an Intamin looper, and it's so intense. It's a really great ride. The only reason this doesn't, I mean, it would get much higher if it just wasn't quite so rough, because I get that's part of the experience with making it more intense, but I just feel like it would be better if it wasn't quite so intense. But the 10 inversions are great. It was the most inverting coaster for ages, and as you're seeing right now, the barrel roll, the quadruple barrel roll is crazy. You get some intense hang time there. Number 6 is Nemesis Inferno at Thorpe Park. Now, this coaster is amazing. Again, it's a great coaster. It's just a tiny bit forceless. It's not forceless, but it's not as strong as some other coasters. The theming is decent. You've got this cool volcano building that the station is in, but other than that, around the track, it's just some plants, really. But yeah, it's a really great B&M invert coaster, and I really enjoy it every time I ride it. I think it's one of those rides which you can ride it as much as you want. And before you go ahead and assume, oh, Tom prefers Nemesis to Nemesis Inferno, that's interesting. I've not actually been to Alton Towers, otherwise one of those coasters would probably be on here already. But yeah, I've not been to Alton Towers, so who knows? Maybe Nemesis is better, maybe it's not. And now into the top 5, starting with Saw the Ride. This coaster is incredibly intense. The feeling of going up a vertical chain lift is so strange. I mean, you feel like you're lying on your back and simultaneously upside down and being swung around. It's really weird. But yeah, the beyond vertical drop is crazy, and then it's got the same thing that Colossus has of using roughness to add to the ride, but I just feel like Saw does it slightly better. It's not crazy, but it still makes the ride better. And the roughness just improves the ride, and the theming is also incredible on Saw the Ride. The queue with the live actors. Unfortunately, the last time I rode it, because of COVID lockdown rules, there were no live actors, but it was still great. It's an incredible ride. Now, number 4 is Stealth, and to be honest, I was surprised when I realised I'd put it here, but I guess I've just got some good other coasters. But I mean, this coaster is insane. The launch is like nothing I've ever experienced before. It goes from 0 to 80 miles per hour in, I think it's 2 or 3 seconds, which is ridiculous thanks to the hydraulic launch. Shame they're no longer in production. But yeah, I mean, it's an incredible coaster. I don't know what else to say. Maybe some more theming? I don't know. In third place is Black Mamba at Phantasialand in Germany. Now, this is again a great coaster. I keep on saying that about every coaster, but they are all just amazing. This is by far the most intense B&M that I've ever ridden. It's really forceful. Like, love it. The theming's great. The buildings are great. The layout is great. Everything about it is just great. And sometimes I'm not sure why I put it in third, but that is just because of what comes next. Because number two is the Swarm at Thorpe Park. The sensation of a wing coaster is really odd. I don't know why, but I love it. I prefer it to being under the track just because it's so unique and there aren't actually that many of them in the world. Swarm is the only wing coaster I've ever ridden. But I just love this coaster mainly for the theming because you've got this awesome backstory. You're being pulled up by this alien creature from the Swarm and taken around this demolition landscape. I can't speak. And I just love it. It's maybe a bit short. Some people say it's forceless, but I totally don't agree with that. I love this coaster a ton. So that leaves in the number one spot Taron at Phantasialand, the Intamin multi-launch coaster, fastest of its kind, most crossovers in the world, the best coaster that I've ever ridden. Definitely one of the best in the world. If you've ever watched this channel or you know me, you'll know that I'm obsessed with this coaster. Uh, the first time I rode it, that's what drew me into the entire roller coaster industry, and that is how I became an enthusiast. It's just I can't explain with words how amazing this coaster is. But like I think a lot of people underestimate it when they haven't ridden it because it doesn't invert. And I feel like that's kind of ridiculous because you've got all of these amazing coasters like King Dakar or Top Thrill Dragster or Intimidator 305. Every Giga and Strata, they don't invert ever. So I feel like this coaster especially just proves you don't need inversions to make a great coaster. It's insane. I love the launch. I love the second launch. The second half of the ride is just brilliant because I can just remember everyone in my family just hit that launch and everyone just started yelling and screaming and like swearing is really funny, especially since my brother was only 8 at the time and he was just yelling. Just loved it. But I've had to start the POV over again because I have so much to say about this coaster. But yeah, I mean, it's just incredible. I can't explain how much I love it. So anyway, there you go. Those are my top 10 roller coasters in the entire world that I've ridden, which is a pretty decent list, I'd say. You can see down here is a list of all the coasters that I've ridden, along with the parks. Least favourite would probably be, I don't know, Millennium Coaster, Fantasy Island. It's the Vekoma. It's not great. It's kind of rough. Um, but yeah, so there you go. My top 10 coasters in the entire world. Don't forget to let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you all next time.